when she would discuss issues concerning this country. We have really lost a role model in this country.
And about did she succumb to?
I am not a doctor.
I'm not aware.
Honorable.
Comme ça. Bien sûr. Ça devrait là-haut.
Let me send you the people thing to follow it.
Fâche. Fâche le gars, c'est bien. This I did not take see money. How we get the quad.
Those are wherever you are, when you know that that's not and all my brothers and problems will be that. For 5 million of everything in this
Let's go back and discuss this. Let's first see
the details of my father's life.
when she would discuss issues concerning this country. We have really lost a role model in this country.
And about did she succumb to?
I am not a doctor.
I'm not aware.
Terrible loss. Of course, I condole with the family for the loss of the Honorable Cecilia. A very, very candid, straightforward nationalist, veteran legislator. I must state without contradiction that coming to Parliament, in the 9th Parliament, she mentored us a lot. Herself and the late Honorable Chanjo were the few seniors who had time for the juniors. Many senior MPs never give time to others, but she was always available to help, to support, to advise. She, without timidity, she would advise you, she would speak to you whether you want to hear what she says or not. We'll miss her candidness, her straightforward character, and her commitment, very committed. I see so many young MPs failing to attend Parliament, missing Parliament, failing to attend to basic business of Parliament. But an old lady like she was, who has been attending Parliament very regularly, you know, and she would read regularly. You could see her updated. So she leaves a legacy worth emulating by those who want to join politics in terms of serving country above self. Tumusalidwa nnyo. Nkoze naye okuva mu Parliament ey'omwenda, abadde mukyala ayogera ekimuli ku mutima. Naye ffe abajja mu Parliament ey'omwenda, ye n'omugenzi Honorable Chanjo, be babaka be nasanga nga balina obudde bw'abalala. Obulina kyoyagala okuyiga, akuwa obudde n'akubuulira. Ate ekiseera kitubaddewo abakulembeze ng'ajja yesu anajja mu ofiisi n'akubuulira ng'omukulembeze we, ate ng'akuwa ekitiibwa n'agamba kino kiri wano twatambudde bulungi, wano twatambudde bulungi, wano tunywezeewo, wano twongere okwebuuza. Tumusaliddwa nnyo, twakusaasira famire, abantu b'Elango, abannaffe aba FDC, tufiiriddwa nnyo ng'eggwanga abadde muweereza mulungi, ebiseera byabikozeseza bulungi okuweereza eggwanga lino. Mukama mumuze mirembe.
Thank you very much. Actually, today is a very, very sad moment. It's really a shock to the people of Lango sub-region because in Honorable Emat, we had a pillar. In Honorable Emat, we had a role model. In Honorable Emat, we had a voice where all of us, as members of Parliament, first of all from Lango, would look upon whenever there is anything. As a member of Parliament who sits in the National Parliament, whenever there was anything, starting when she was a commissioner and even just a member, all of us would look upon him. Even when it meant meeting the president, we would know that when Emat is there, everything would be okay. So Emat was so articulate, developmental oriented, in that her voice was loud enough to speak for all of us. But as a woman, I'm part of the family because my husband comes from that side. And I used to call her my grandmom. And most of the time, she would be directing me in Parliament. I hope you people were visible enough to see. So, as a daughter-in-law, I've lost one of my pillar, a role model, who would not talk only to me as a daughter-in-law, but to most of us, the women members of Parliament. So many female members would go to her, seek for advice from all aspects of life. She had a very, very research submission on the floor of Parliament. Whenever she would speak, all members of Parliament would listen and try to pick whatever she was telling us, because in our information there was a lot of guidance. There was a lot of a word from an elder, informed and research. So as Parliament, even when we go out of the country, one thing that I remember, she would tell you when you are out of the country, you are representing Uganda, not your political parties. So in Emat we had everything. The beauty as Miss Uganda, the joker who would sometimes throw light moments when we were in Parliament. Somebody who would command, she had that commanding voice and authority before members of Parliament. I can say it and never end, but as Lango sub-region, we have really lost a pillar, and it was a big bang on our faces. Death is really so ruthless. Because if there was somebody who would not be man, developmental who would speak for us as a sub-region, and it's really a big loss to the people of Lango.
Kufa abalala twaja mu politics zino nga tutunulira omukyala Cecilia Ogwal nga tumwegomba nga tukyali baana batongo gamba yi nange singa mutuukako nembera kumbi naye eggwanga lifiiriddwa omukyala ono abadde mukyala w'amaanyi nnyo. Bw'oyogera ku empowerment y'abakyala toyinza byogerako nga toyogedde ku Cecilia. Mu kwabo abayimirira mu Constituency Assembly ne bagamba n'abakyala tubateeke muki musemateeka w'eggwanga. So kufa abalala bali mu ababadde mu parliament n'abayise mu byobufuzi nga tugendera kweyo ennyingo egamba nti n'abakyala tubakole ki tubakirize bagende mu byobufuzi. Tukiteeka ku mama Cecilia ne banne abali musiye mu biseera ebyo. Bwe tweyagalira mu mirembe gino gye democracy gye tuyina bagamba tuli mu political parties ez'enjawulo n'oyimirira wano nga nze nenyimirira ne ngamba nti wa ANT ne ba FDC ne bayimirira ne bagamba tuli ba FDC aba NUP ne bayimirira ne bagamba tuli ba NUP. Ebyo byonna tebyali baddewo singa tetwali tuyina abantu abalinga Cecilia Imati kubanga mama ye yagamba nti democracy teyinza kuba democracy abantu nga mubakwatira mu kakuni emu. Eddoboozi lyabwe lyatuma Museveni agamba katubaleke bagende tubeeyijeko tulyoke twenyweze. Katwagala omwebaza kubanga mama abadde an epitome of democracy. Toyinza kwogera ku democracy wa Uganda in fact post independence nga totaddemu Cecilia. Cecilia abadde omukyala ffe ng'abakyala bali mu bukulembeze atulaga ekifaananyi ekigamba nti oyinza kutuuka ku madala ge waggulu naye nosigala ng'oli maama waka ng'oli mukyala ayagala Katonda ng'oli mukyala weereza makage kubanga ye abadde mukulembeze mu bifo ebyewaggulu naye ate era bw'otuuka mu makage nga maama nga mukyala nga jjajja era nga mukyala aweesa ekitiibwa nga ayagala Katonda we yatuyigiriza okubalasinga work and family. Ebyo bimu ku bye namuyigirako. Cecilia nga tugamba nti financial management is very important. Toyinza kubeera mukulembeze asasanya ensimbi nga tabalirira. Yesonga lwaki ne mu parliament abadde ali ku bukiiko bw'enjawulo naddala akakiiko aka budget bajamusuubwa kubanga abadde agayidinga nnyo mu bintu ebifa ku budget. Cecilia bwagenda mu lukiiko ebweru abadde ateeka Uganda mu maaso nga talowooza ku byokugamba nti ndi wa opposition. Ye bw'aba ayogera nga yogerera ggwanga. So ng'eggwanga tufiiriddwa. Cecilia tabadde leader owa Uganda yokka oba Dokolo wadde abantu b'e Dokolo tubalumirirwa parliament ya Uganda naye Africa as a continent evuddeko omukyala ow'amaanyi ennyo. Globally tufiiriddwa omuntu bw'atuuka mu lukiiko tavamu nga tayogedde. Bw'asituka okuyogera nammwe abali mabega we muba mugamba nti emundu yaffe evuddeyo omukyala waffe omwogezi ali kwogera mwena nga mumanyi nti substance yokka yegenda kuvaamu. Abadde ayagala nnyo okukola nga tayagala kutuula ate nga asoma nnyo ebitabo. Bw'osanga Cecilia ali kusoma budget ng'agisoma noonya buli kantu ffenna nga tukunganya nga gamba nsanzeewo wano mistake tujogereko naye ate era nga yagala emirembe mu ebyo byonna nga tayagala ntalo naye bw'aba ayimirira kwogera ekintu kye nga tagenda kubuusabuusa bigambo. Bw'akyogera nga bwe kiri akiteekawo nga bwe kiri ate nga aw'amagezi nga kulaga nga bwe wali kikoze. So really abantu bwe batyo tebatera kusangika. Bwe mubeera n'omu muba mulina ekyomuwendo. Kati ffe ng'eggwanga tufiiriddwa ekintu ekyomuwendo. Ffe abakyala babadde bamulabirako tukuze nga tulaba maama. Tufiiriddwa nnyo naye tusaba Mukama nti amuwe ekiwummule ky'emirembe maama wumula bulungi ng'omanyi nti the fruits of your labor will continue to live on. She has played her part. This world is a stage. Buli omu ajja nakola ebibye. You come and play your part. Naye hers was a well played part. Ate kyemanyi agenda kuwumula, ajja kuwumula mirembe ng'amanyi nti ye tabanjibwa. Kyonna ekyali kisanidde okukolebwa ng'omukyalo ow'omu maka yakikola. Ng'omukulembeze yakikola. Ate era to be as an example to many of the young people upcoming leaders. Ekyo nakyakikoze. Kye tulina okukola ngaffe abasigadde emabega kwe kulaba nti her legacy lives on. Byatuyigiriza naffe tubiwa abalala tumanye nti what she fought for, good governance, democracy, justice, rule of law, human rights, tugenda mu maaso kubyogera kubanga she was really an activist, one who believed in the empowerment of women. Tumwebaza kubanga yatukolera ekkubo naffe lye tuyiseemu, tetugenda aligala. Tujja kukola ekisoboka okulaba nti naffe abakyala abalala abali mu mabega waffe tubakwatako okubayisa maama watuyisizza. Dark day today, we woke up to sad news of the passing of the Honorable Cecilia Barbara Ogwal. To many of us, it came like a shock because Mama has really been moving. You know, she loved work. Mama has been working hard. We all refer to her as Mama, and the title suits her well. May Mama rest really well because she played her part as a citizen of the country, as a mother, as a wife, but most importantly, as a leader. Many of us, while growing up, we looked on to Cecilia Ogwal as a role model. Growing up as a young girl, I would see Cecilia talk and you would say, yes, this is a woman. And I kept saying, I really want to be like this woman. I'm glad she played a part, she played a role in my life, coming up as a young leader. And when I came to Parliament, she was among the first people who gave me counsel. She told me how to handle myself around Parliament. She took me through balancing work and family. And when I was having my wedding in 2009, Mama was there to speak to me. She told me words of wisdom and told me, Winnie, you should know that you are a leader. Your marriage is equally important. Leave your politics at the gate. Go and be a mother to your children and a wife to your husband. When you are going out to do politics, speak your politics at the gate. So basically, she wanted to tell me that as a leader, you need to learn how to balance between work and family, but at the same time, be consistent. She has been a resilient woman. You can't talk about good governance and democracy without talking about Cecilia. Every time Uganda was at crossroads in terms of shortages in human violations, shortages on human rights, Cecilia would speak loudly. Uganda was, until recently when we went back to multi-party dispensation, but she did not relent on speaking and calling upon the powers that be to get us back on track and talk about democracy. She's among the few Ugandans who remained consistent and calling upon a return to multi-party dispensation. So if we can see ourselves into different political shades, Mama was part of it. When some of us were getting into the reform agenda, Mama was still in UPC, but because the UPC was no longer in existence, we would come here in her compound to discuss about now a new pressure group that was talking about a return to multi-party politics, a pressure group that was now reuniting all the other opposition people who were now in disarray. So she has been an icon of democracy. To us in the women's movement, Mama is a role model to many of us, the women upcoming leaders, many women in leadership. Cecilia has held each one of us. In Parliament, every time we came at a standstill, we all looked on to the voice of Cecilia. What is Mama going to say? Mama was a team builder. She was a peacemaker. And I remember one time we were going to Hungary together to represent the country. When we reached Hungary, when we were ready to go for the conference, then she sat me down and told me, Mama, I know you are a young girl who is an activist. I want to tell you that when you get into these conferences, we are Ugandans first. Let the flag of Uganda be raised high. In conferences, you speak about things that matter to the country, not our internal bickerings. We shall tackle Museveni when we reach Entebbe after we have left here. And I took it that she loved her country above self. So we lose a woman of substance, we lose a Ugandan, we lose an African, we lose a global leader. In Cecilia, we had a unifier, we had a democrat, we had a leader, we had a mother, but also something unique about Cecilia is that she blended her politics with Christianity. She wouldn't speak much without referring to what the Bible says. The Bible orders us to do this. We are here creatures made in the image of God. And therefore, if we are made in the image of God, we need to be fair. She believed in justice. She believed in freedom. So really, as a country, we have lost a stateswoman, a woman of all shades. She respected people in their different categories, young and old. She had a place for everyone. Her office was a home to all of us. Her home has been a home to many of us. So we are here really, want to mourn, but at the same time we want to celebrate a life well lived. Many of our colleagues in the opposition have taken leave because they think they have waited for a long time. Some of us have been learning from Cecilia. But even those who are in government should have learned from Cecilia, because sometimes she would poke them and tell them, you know, you do these things. Some of us who have been in government know how things happen. You should be aware that at some point you'll be in the opposition. So she had the sense of what happens when you are in government and what happens when you are in the opposition. So for her, she knew how to blend in well because she had lived both lives. So at some point, she would even caution us who were in the opposition. Be careful not to treat the people in government badly because you are working towards going into government. When you get there, they will accuse you of the same. And she would tell us so many experiences of how they were in the UPC government. So really we celebrate her and we thank God for giving us Cecilia as a gift. But at the same time we mourn her because we still needed her. We needed her services, we needed her resilience.
Tuli wano nga FDC delegation, tuli ne NEC members bano benyimiridde nabo ba NEC, ono mukyala abalinabyo Fatuma, secretary wa environment, ono mwami chairperson wa youth Francis Adepo, ono mwami Moses Kwera, secretary w'ebyobulamu. Amanya gange nze Margaret Wokuri Madanda, deputy president. Tuli wano okubagiza senior waffe, tuli wano okukaaba ne family, tuli wano twagala tubenga twegatta ku family okuteekateeka engeri gye tugenda okusindika gye tugenda okuziika senior waffe, senior member waffe wa FDC party.
Tuhulire ku bintu byazze ng'akola mu party n'engeri gy'abayambyemu okukola nga party n'abantu mu bintu byakozeeko.
Senior Ndi Honorable Cecilia Ogwal yabadde omu ku kye bagamba omuzungu kyagamba big drum yaffe kubanga abadde resourceful okutuwa amagezi, abadde resourceful okutuwa direction, abadde resourceful n'okutuwa ssente kubanga kakati mumanyi nti politics ya leero ya ssente ate yebadde amazeemu emyaka mingi mu bukulembeze. Kati nga y'omuntu gw'ogamba nti oba tugenda kubeera ne activity n'agamba ati ekyo mukindekere, n'okutuwa guidance. Kati nga bwe twali Nabinoonya recently twabadde ne NEC retreat yajja n'atusomesa engeri y'okubanga tugenda mu nga bwe tubadde mu conflict tunagivaamu tutya, biki bye tulina okukola, biki bye tulina okusaako fokasi tubeere nga twezimba ng'ekibiina. Kale abadde muntu nga wa mugaso nnyo gye tuli mu kutuwa amagezi, mu kutukwatirira Lango sub-region n'okwogera ku bintu ekintu kyonna bwe kiba nga kiri mu nsi y'omuntu ajjayo eddoboozi ne mugamba nti kati eryo ly'eddoboozi lya FDC naye bavuddeyo n'egindi yabo.
Oyogedde ku batagala mu bibiina nti abadde abawabula abavubuka.
Yes.
You said it in English. So
yes, kakati omukyala Cecilia Ogwal abavubuka ennaku zino omanyi parties teziri grounded nnyo mu ideology nga parties enkadde. Essaawa eno FDC kye tuliko titwagala tuzimbe abavubuka baffe abaana mu biki ebirina okubeera mu pate olina okweyisa otya nga parties enkadde nga UPC ne DP bwe zaali. Naye kakati ssaawa eno waliwo abavubuka abayingira mu pate nga tebamanyi FDC standpoint yaabwe yeeriwa FDC omulamwa guli kuki oba UPC oba kakati omukadde Cecilia Ogwal yabadde atuyamba nnyo bw'alaba omuntu bw'atyo nga oba kutagala bw'alaba omuntu ng'atagala nga muyita n'agamba ati gwe oba ng'oli wa FDC bino by'olina okugoberera olina okutambula